How y'all doing, man? Welcome in. How's everybody doing, man? Happy Wednesday, man. Oh, man, we got a lot to talk about today, baby. I'm in all black for a reason. I know y'all about to kill me. Man. It's okay. I can take it, man. I'll wear that, man. 10 toes, chin up. 10 toes down, chin up. I'll take it, baby. We gonna talk about it. Oh, man, what an exciting last couple of days, man. How you guys been, man? I just been stuck watching fucking press conferences. I've been watching everything in basketball right now, man. It's been a crazy couple of days. Oh, man. We're about to get right into it, baby. Yes, sir, Steve. Oh, man. All right. Hey, man, this is my favorite part, man. This is the best shit. Oh, man. Man, welcome in. How you guys doing? Welcome to another episode of the Jayson Estrera Show, where we talk about basketball as accurate as possible. Now, like I was just saying, it's been a crazy last couple days in the NBA. A lot to talk about. A lot has happened. I was really locked into the Knicks Celtics game and the Lakers Thunder game last night. So we got a lot to talk about, but there was a lot. There is truly a lot going on. I do want to start by congratulating the Florida Gators, right, for winning another national championship. I know I'm not watching college basketball like that, but these guys are going, a lot of these guys in this tournament are going to be looking to be in the NBA draft in one way or the other. And also, and obviously, honestly, I'm not too familiar with the men's side. I think the women's side have a lot bigger names, or at least one bigger name. with Paige Beckers, right? So congratulations to her doing her thing, about to go into the WNBA with a bang, right? Everyone talking about Caitlin Clark last year is going to be Caitlin Clark / Paige Beckers now going into the following WNBA season. So it's going to be a lot of fun. We got grenades now. Oh my God. Yes, we do. Elijah, we drew the short end of the stick last night, man. Shit. We both on the same side today. Bruce gonna come in here and kill the both of us. He gonna come in here and fry our shit. Just get ready. Just get ready, man. That's why I put an extra layer of shirt on for protection. Cause boy, he gonna come in. I know it. But congratulations to them, and Paige, to come back from the ACL injury, have the year that she's had, win the chip, and then to go into the WNBA. I mean, that's unbelievable. And honestly, I want to start right there before we get to the shits. Right? Because like I said, we're gonna be talking a lot today, because a lot of big things happened. But apparently, I don't know if you've ever heard of this, right? There was the infamous Caitlin Clark practice game or whatever it was.
So we have a practice team that's just all guys. They have to be students at the university. They basically just volunteer their time, and I think we were down 15. So we make a couple threes. We cut it to 10, maybe. I don't even know.
Now when you say we make a couple of threes, was it you or was everybody making threes?
It was me, but the points went to the Iowa Hawkeyes. So I think I had 22 points in 2 minutes was the moral of the story.
I'm sorry. 22 points in 2 minutes.
It was funny because we had a high school girls basketball team there that day. So we had a little audience, and we were up in our
frying
practice
their
gym.
shit. Oh my God.
And they were jumping out of their chairs, going crazy. Usually I never react when something like I hit a big shot, or I do, but never in a shocked way. After my fifth three in a row in a minute, I was like, oh my gosh, I couldn't believe it. I was running around, and we ended up winning. And so,
wait, nah, that's cap. That's fucking cap, bro. That's cap. That's so cap. But here's the question, man. Are you letting Caitlin Clark score 22 points in 2 minutes? Listen, bro. Listen. If Caitlin Clark is on a heater, right, and I'm a part of this school, if she makes 2-3 threes in a row, right, 2-3 threes in a row, so that's 6-9 points, right? We're still a third away from 22. Excuse me. I'm going to have to make a business decision, and they're going to have to transfer me. Because there is no way. There is no way. I'm about to let her score 22. Bro. No. I'm not saying I would have fried her. But I'm getting expelled. They go sub me. Somebody else gonna have to do it, man. Steve from IT gonna have to take over in the IT, in the IT department in the school. He gonna have to take over, because I'm not about it. You gonna have to expel me. That's the star player on the team. She said, I cross her, not seen that Iowa team deny on offense. I'm gonna be on her like a crazy wombat. Nah, that's I might black out and clothesline her. I'm not even joking. 22 in 2 minutes is insane. I don't give a fuck what anybody say. That's crazy. And she was shooting deep. Yeah, that's the other. But they were down 15, Elijah. they were doing a little bit more. Yes, they was down 15. She said it. So they were beating ass. And what was probably happening is, to your point, Elijah, right? she was probably like trying to facilitate and shit. She was probably trying to work on their offense kind of vibe, right? And then she said, "Fuck that! I'm not about to lose this game," and just took over. And like I said, I'm not saying I would have stopped her. I'm saying I probably would have got expelled for what I would have done. I clothesline her up the 3-point line. No bullshit. But unbelievable. And I'm really excited to watch her and the rest of the women play this summer. I'm super excited for that. I think little tidbits like this coming out, plus what the playoffs and the finals is about to be, the WNBA draft, all of these things coming together. Aja Wilson's shoe is dropping next month. There's a lot. They got a real good. They got a good ingredients, right? And it's all about, can they put this meal together properly? Talking about the WNBA, but the ingredients are there to have an even better season than they had last year. So it's really exciting times, man. It's really exciting times. I want to hear, especially with all of the talk. Remember earlier in the year, if you guys remember, Elijah, I know you got to remember because we were on here talking about it. Everybody was talking about the ratings at the beginning of the year, right? Everyone's talking about ratings, and numbers. And it's been super exciting since. We've had some downtimes, right? Obviously, you can't expect the entire season to be up. But it's been real exciting, and I think it's gonna stretch right into the WNBA season and rotate right back to the NBA. So I'm really liking this schedule right now. Let's be real. There's only one thing that matters this week. That's the Masters, dog. I have not watched that in a long time. I remember I used to turn golf on randomly on weekends, but like I haven't watched. I haven't watched that in a long time. I did go to Top Golf like 2-3 weeks ago. I did go to Top Golf like 2-3 weeks ago. I suck. Oh man, but it's so much fun to go out there. Yeah, I never camped for Angel. I remember that. Yeah, no, facts. But speaking of which, in other news, right? The Denver Nuggets have relieved head coach Michael Malone for his duties and will not extend general manager Calvin Booth. David Adelman will assume our head coaching role for the remainder of the 24-25 season. So, a literal week before the play-in tournament, right? Another head coach in the Western Conference playoffs has been fired. First, we had Taylor Jenkins just a week ago. And now we have Michael Malone, Denver Nuggets former head coach, has been fired. And, there's a lot of people, what the hell? Yoke out, Nuggets are done. Jokic got Malone fired. I'm not gonna lie, I usually think that in these situations, right? But I genuinely don't think that Jokic had anything to do with this. Like I genuinely don't think he had anything to do with this at all. What's good, Bruce? What's good, Big Brucey? He just I don't believe it. From reports, Michael Malone they'd wanted to fire him in 2023, right? But he won the championship. They'd wanted to fire him at the end of that season, but he won a championship. Reports are he's rubbed a lot of people the wrong way. And they got rid of him and also general manager Calvin Booth. So this seems like something that's been brewing within the organization. And honestly, the part in it to me that was also really important was the fact that they're not going to extend the general manager Calvin Booth. You paying a player $60 million, you think that they're not going to tell him? Like I said, I just don't think it's in Jokic's character. This guy barely cares about playing in the NBA, let alone I think he could give a fuck who's coaching him. Like, genuinely, I think he really doesn't care who's coaching him. He gonna do what he does regardless of who you are. Is it possible? Yeah, I just don't think so. But to me, and I get that. For sure. And I know we've talked about that before. Players don't play hard. They get tired of him yelling at them. We don't know Jokic. But just to fire him at this point, I think it's personal. I think it's personal from a management perspective, because otherwise why not just wait till the end of the year? Even if Jokic said, I want to get him fired, right? To do something like this, I think it's personal. And the only way it would be personal in that way would be, I think, from a management perspective or an ownership perspective. I saw him getting angry at Malone just last week. Yeah, but that's just player coach shit though. Right? That's just player coach shit. That's just passionate player coach shit. And like I said, they wanted to fire him since 2023, and he had a magical, he had that one-of-one run. And I think, right, I genuinely, this is what I think. They're worried that the Nuggets can make a run into the conference finals this year. I think that's what the management is thinking, or the ownership is thinking. And if they were to make a run into the conference finals, firing him would look really brain dead. And now it puts them in this weird spot. And rather than just firing him now, and if they make the run, then they could still kind of do whatever they want, and they get to say, we did it without you. And honestly, this is the other part too, right? When it comes to the general manager, right? The GM and the coach had a toxic relationship, so the Nuggets did not want to choose a side. They kicked them out. That part to me was really interesting, because as a general manager, you never upgraded this team. And I think we've seen that in a lot of situations, right, where coaches and players are at the mercy of their general manager, right? I can't dictate necessarily who's going to be on this team. It's this person's job to put this team together. We could have discussions or whatnot, but at the end of the day, that's on the general manager. And if they're not putting players and pieces in place for your team to be successful, it always falls on the players and the coaches first before the general manager. So him also, them not extending him is also very interesting. But I guess he gets to finish his contract out, which is very interesting to me. But I don't know, man. The NBA is the wild west right now. Nuggets gonna be in the play-in and go on vacation much earlier. I mean, hey, man, like, when you have Jokic, I think you're going to be dangerous no matter what. So if they make the playoffs, and I mean, there's no way they don't make the playoffs, right? Like, there's just no way. Yeah, they're in the 5th seed. They'll be all right. There's like 3 games left. They're tied technically with the Warriors. I mean, yeah. I mean, it could be. Wow, that's actually, we'll see what happens about that. But it's the wild west in the NBA right now. Wild shit is going on. Wild shit is really going on. Now, let's see. The Memphis Grizzlies last night also got the victory over the Charlotte Hornets 124-100. But the story of the night But this is the story of the night. They losing all 3 games. Hey, man, if they lose out, that'd be crazy. What you guys think about this, man? Listen. I'm in. I don't give a fuck. I'm in. Ja, I'm in. I'm down. That was fire. That was fire. I don't care. I don't care. That's fire. It wasn't a gun. Give a fuck what you say. It wasn't a gun. He needs to get a Call of Duty deal. Like Kevin Durant and Devin Booker. I don't even know why Devin Booker got one, but he needs to go get one. So when he does an emote in the game, he gets to just say it's a video game emote, and all the kids gonna be doing it and shit. But I love the grenade. It's creative, and it still toes the line, but I think it's clear. If they find him for this, that's bullshit. I'm not gonna lie to you. Good for Ja. People are attacking Ja. Good for him. He's owed an apology. Listen, it's not a gun, right? I was very particular. It's not a gun. Now, this is the part, Ja. You have to do your part and not get caught on live with a grenade. Imagine the motherfucker with a grenade. Listen. Don't be on IG Live with a grenade, Ja. That's all I ask of you. And this celebration is good. It's good. I'm cool. Listen, toe the line. Just don't actually get in trouble. That's it, man. That's it. He gonna be out the league soon. Man. I mean, it he's going to grenade his career and beg to come back. Listen, that narrative will happen kind of like with Gilbert Arenas, right? A lot of people thought that the gun thing is what took him out when it was really injuries. Now, if injuries take Ja Morant out, that's totally different. But this is good and fun. Like, this is a part of the game. He's like, this is good and fun. I think this is fair. I was very particular the other day about the gun gesture, and because he got caught because he was on camera. That's it. Outside of that, like I said, he needs to do his part and not be on camera with a grenade, and we're good. We're good. Oh shit, man. But hey, we'll see how they play in the playoffs. Man. We'll see how he played in the playoffs. Bruce, a hater. You just said he gonna be out the league, really? I know, bro. He just want the Warriors to win. That's all it really is. That's all it really is, man. Listen, that's all it is. Bro. But he had himself. Ja had himself a solid game. Another solid game, 28, 8, and 5. Like I said, I think he's just a really good basketball player. And the biggest stat on for me in the middle of the blowout was 0 turnovers. Right? 0 turnovers for Ja Morant. We need him in the league. He's a completely different play style from a lot of the other players and the guards that we see, and I think we need that parity in the league. If he's fine with not ever being the face of the NBA, right? If that's not his goal, if that's not what he wants, if that's not what he's striving for, and he wants to be a habitual line stepper without necessarily crossing the line every time, and he keeps himself out of trouble, I'm cool with it. Do whatever it is you gotta do. I think he could flip this into some bread. I think he could really flip this into some money if he wants to. And I think it'll be funny all the way around. And it'll be a great way to flip the negativity in what happened in the past, right? Make it, to change it into something else. But hey, man, at the end of the day, I think he's a good hooper, man. He's a good basketball player. If being a hater is telling the truth, the truth is being a hater. I should be in the Hall of Fame. That's ethical hating. I'm not the sensitive referee that ejected Luka last night. Oh man, I guess we gotta get into it because that was next on the docket already, man. That was next on the docket. What the fuck was that last night that we saw at the Lakers Thunder game? The Oklahoma City Thunder defeat the Lakers on the back-to-back, right? 136-120. Shea had another 40-piece, 42, 6 and 6, shot 53.8% from the field, 5 of 9 from 3, 55.6%, 9 of 11 from the free throw line, which is obviously a 180 flip from the other night, right? And on the other side, 28, 7 and 3 for Bron, 24, 5 and 5 for Austin Reeves, 23, 5 and 3 for Luka, who was having another very good game. But unfortunately for the Oklahoma City Thunder, right, as big of a win as this was, the story of the night was this.
All the stars in action tonight. Nobody's sitting except for Rui. That knee management. Doncic starts, stop, shoot, gonna score.
Well, he got the switch. He won it again. Hardenstein. Luka's thrown out of the game.
Oh no!
Luka just got thrown out.
There you go. Second technical. Doncic is gone.
Luka is saying he was talking to a fan, and the official is saying he was talking to me. So that's his second technical. He's out of the game. Luka makes this shot, and I guess one of the fans.
What do you guys think he said?
He was saying something. Luka said something back, and the official happened to be in that area.
Yeah.
What do you guys think he said?
The second tee. So
That's something.
I got
Luka, he's always engaging with the fans or another.
I got to
teammate.
guess.
But unfortunately.
So Luka Doncic gets ejected in the fourth quarter of a 1-point game with 7 minutes and 40 seconds left in the fourth quarter. You guys got any guesses? If I've you know, we've heard some audios of some of the stuff that he says to players and fans. I think he called that fan a pussy. I think that's what happened. I think he called that fan a pussy, and the ref thought he was talking about him, and that's what happened. And it's funny to be like, no, I'm not calling you a pussy. I'm calling him a pussy. Yo, isn't that funny? Isn't that funny? And listen. It was a terrible call. Like it was a terrible to throw him out on that. I think that's terrible. Personally, I think that's terrible because you have to, as a referee, like there's no way that, like, you just thought that was directed at you. I mean, I guess we would have to hear audio of the whole game and see if Luka's been saying shit to him the whole time. But outside of that, like, I think that's a terrible call. Luka did this to himself because he talks too much to the refs. Maybe he says shut the fuck up. Refs should be suspended too for stupid calls. How can't Draymond and Luka control themselves? And that was the other part that I was going to get into, right? Because Shaq actually pointed the blame at Luka. And I think to a certain extent, he does need to have more self-control. Right? I guess this certain scenario might be a bad example of it because he's not in the wrong. But like you said earlier too, Bruce, he talks so much to the refs that maybe it gets to a point where the line really is blurred, right? And that's something that Luka is gonna have to look at himself in the mirror and really think about. But this instance, and what makes it worse for the referees is a couple of things, right? The fact that it was such a complete 180 between this game and the game before. Shea went from 0 free throw attempts to 11. That's obvious. And then, not only did you give Luka a tech for this, but then right after, you gave, was it Gabe Vincent? No. It was Vando, right? I think it was Jared Vanderbilt, who got another tech after the block on Alex Caruso. And then they called another ticky-tack foul on Gabe Vincent at pretty much half court. So all of those things put together really makes you scratch. Like, what the fuck are the refs doing? Like, what was the call that you guys got, or what was the agenda for this game? Because all of those things make it really obvious that you guys are purposely calling this game differently. And ever since that moment, Luka went out. They took LeBron out soon after. And the game was over. The game was over. Austin Reeves turned the ball over like 2 times, 3 times, and the game, it was over. Just Hoop Dog, like, how you do something every day but have so much energy for extra bullshit like this. Just shut up. Just shut up. I mean, yeah, to an extent, yeah, but like I said, I think that's more of a overall thing on Luka, and you get caught in this sometimes. Like, you get caught in the middle of stuff like this sometimes. But unfortunate. I mean, I'll give it to the Oklahoma City Thunder. They were shooting the lights out of the ball. Right? In the first half, right? In the first half, they shot 64.7% from the field, hit 11 of 23s for 55%, scored 80 points, and were only up 8. As good as they were playing, the Lakers were right there. And it took ejecting Luka, another technical foul call, another foul call, and then they called 2 ticky-tack fouls on Austin Reeves on the other end on Shea, and the game was over. And so, if you're the Oklahoma City Thunder in this situation, right? In my opinion, there's nothing to get excited about when it comes to this particular game. You could complain about the refs or whatever in the previous game or whatnot, but when it comes to this particular game, there is nothing to get excited about. Because as well as you guys were playing and shooting, because I'm Lou Dort isn't gonna score, isn't gonna get. How many did he have in the first half? He's not gonna go 5 for 6 in a half that often. Like, let's just be real. And the fact that the Lakers were able to stick right there and shoot with them in 2 consecutive games, essentially, the best defense in the league, I think is very telling. Tonight, I hope Luka is not going to be like Butler when he went back to Miami. I want to show, and then the Lakers lose. OKC is overrated. Everyone can see that. No, for sure. Honestly, and that's the other part. I don't know. Maybe the NBA was, their goal was to piss Luka off going into Dallas. Maybe that was their goal, right? Maybe their goal was, all right, let's give OKC this other win just so they can get a false sense of confidence, and let's piss Luka Doncic off going into this Dallas game. Because Luka is not Jimmy Butler. He better shoot the ball 40 fucking times tonight. Listen, man. Listen. I watched them pick up Bron full court last night, not giving a fuck, forcing him to turn the ball over. He shot 19 times, played 35 minutes. Listen, give him a break tonight. Shoot 40 times, Luka. Go score 80 tonight. Like, just do whatever the fuck you want to. If I were JJ, right? I'm walking right in there like, all right, Bron, you just do your facilitating bullshit today, right? Just do that. This game, I know we lost some bullshit last night, right? We're obviously going to try to win this game. But this is about Luka sending a message tonight to the Dallas Mavericks organization and to the rest of the NBA. If we unleash this fucking dog, he is liable to give you guys 70. That would be my entire message for tonight. Win, lose, or draw, you are shooting 40 times minimum, Luka. Anytime you see the rim at the corner of your eye, I want you to shoot that bitch. Like, that would be my message. We sending a message to the entire league. We're coming for heads. But, you know, I guess that's why I'm not an NBA head coach. But, you know, going back quickly to the Oklahoma City Thunder game, like I said, the Thunder really started pushing the pace, and they really picked up their defense. They were picking up higher than they were the night before. And still, like I said, the Lakers were right there. 108 to 107, the Lakers had the lead with 7 minutes and 40 seconds left. And I'll be honest with you, as good as Shai Gilgeous-Alexander has been, right? Going down the stretch, I'm taking Luka. Like, I'm just like I'm taking Luka. When I see a score like that, I feel like there's a good chance the Los Angeles Lakers win that game. And so, you know, that's just something to really, like I said, that this game is something I wouldn't be super excited about if I'm the Oklahoma City Thunder. Excuse me. But, you know, from one heartbreak, right? Oh, and by the way, Elijah, I need you to defend this, man. Apparently, LeBron is having a Ken doll. Yo, Elijah, I need you to defend this, bro. Apparently, he's having a Barbie doll. You know something about this? What's up with your boy, man? What's up with your boy? All the Bron songs, all the sus Bron songs, all the, like, listen, bro, all the sus comments under videos like this. How do you defend this? How do you defend this, Elijah? How you defend this, man? How do you like, was he gonna be in the next Barbie movie? Oh man. Yo, hey man, get the bag, sir. Get the bag. But an exciting second night on a back-to-back for the Los Angeles Lakers, right? Against the Dallas Mavericks. But moving right along, I mean, you had your heartbreak, right, Elijah? I guess it's time to talk about mine. The New York Knicks lost to the Boston Celtics 119 to 117. Cat had 34, 14 and 2. You know, Brunson had 27 and 10. On the other side, KP had 34, 4 rebounds, 3 assists. You know, Tatum had 32, 7 rebounds, 5 assists. This is why they were on timeout for so long, bro. This is why, like, this is exactly why they're on timeout. Cause like, how? We're 0-9 against the top 3 teams in each conference. Like, what are we doing? Dog, I was so tight last night. Like, I'll be honest with you, bro. I was so tight. Like, I was mad as fuck. And I don't know how you beat the Celtics. I mean, I get that we almost beat them last night, but in a 7-game series, how do you beat these guys? And some of the mistakes that we make, if you're the New York Knicks, I mean, here, let's go through it, man. Tatum has an opportunity right here to tie the game, right?
Has come in for the Knicks. Tatum to tie.
Misses the free throw, rolls out. We have to know situations, right? If you are Mikal Bridges, you have to know that y'all have 2 timeouts. There's 35.4 seconds left. And if you dribble the ball, you cannot advance the ball to half court.
Bridges has it. Half minute to go in regulation. It's Bridges weaving through traffic.
There is 15 seconds left.
Timeout. Hart will set a screen.
The Boston Celtics have done such a great job of managing this pick and roll situation in particular from the second quarter on. And, you know, the fact that we actually got Kristaps Porzingis in this action, and honestly, he kind of fucked up because Drew was playing it really great until they let, you know, Brunson turn the corner.
Brunson will try to orchestrate. With the 1-point lead, Brunson will drive, cutting Hart.
Josh Hart with a great cut and a great basket.
What a finish by Hart.
Look, he's trying to figure out right now what the matchup is. Right? Because you saw a lot in the second half. They were putting Brunson on Kristaps Porzingis, and we'll talk about this in a little bit, because of the pick and roll scenarios that they like to run. So he's trying to figure out what the matchups are right now. He's like, what the fuck? Who is he on? OG is on him. They're looking to do another pick and roll action with 9.7 seconds left. Jalen Brunson is on that. Listen, bro, I get that this is like a bang-bang situational thing, but you got to know that they need a 3. To bite this hard.
On top, Tatum stepping, a 3 for the tie.
Bro, I threw my Crocs at the wall. Mikal Bridges has been playing like he smiled. Like, bro. Like, just so many mistakes right there at the end. I'll be honest with you guys. I don't know how anyone beats the Celtics. They don't have to be playing well to win a game. They have so many different options on offense and on defense. I love the breakdown that John Wall did a couple weeks ago, talking about how they slide Jayson Tatum to the 5 a lot, even with the center there. Right, they'll rotate him to the 5 to try to neutralize the 1-5 or whoever their primary ball handler is, playmaker is, so he could kind of neutralize that pick and roll. They'll just switch it, right? And they did that time and again. And every time the Knicks made an adjustment, the Celtics made an adjustment. They started realizing, right? The Knicks realized, okay, shit, if we put OG Anunoby on Tatum, and then we put Mikal Bridges on Derek White. When they do the pick and roll, Mikal is going to end up on Tatum. And what did the Celtics do? They just started posting him up. And there were so many occasions where KP had Jalen Brunson. And in a 7-game series, at some point, they're going to really take advantage of that. And you can lose a game, a massive game, because of something that minor. You're expecting them to constantly hit pick and rolls. And now Jalen Brunson is in the post for the next 5 minutes. I remember one time they broke up one of the OG and Bridges did a great job of covering the pick and roll. They swung it to the other side, and Peyton Pritchard and KP is about to have a pick and roll. And I'm sitting there like, what the fuck? I was like, that ain't fair. Like, what? I don't know how you beat them. I have some ideas, but I don't know how you beat them. Celtics are beatable. Leave Holiday open. Who cares if he hits a couple threes? Play a zone. Don't tell Detroit that. Pistons fans think they can beat the 96 Bulls. I am not guarding Holiday. I respect him, but I will make him the leading scorer. Then Bruce, they'll do what they did last year, and they'll start leaving Drew Holiday in the dunker, so that when Tatum is doing his pick and roll, what ends up happening? There ends up being a little guard in the paint trying to stop a 6'10" Jayson Tatum going at the rim. And they'll put KP in the left corner. They did it all last year. This is exactly how they beat the Dallas Mavericks. Because they could switch Tatum onto the 5 and guard that Doncic pick and roll action. Whoever is guarding Drew, they'll just put him in the dunker. They just have so many counters to everything, and they don't have to be playing great to win a basketball game. Not going to lie, that may be their best bet, but it's still a bad option. But like I said, they're just going to counter you. And honestly, I genuinely, I think there's different ways to beat them, right? I think the two best ways that you could beat them, in my opinion, is one, if you have two guys literally have to win you a game in isolation situations in the playoffs against the Boston Celtics. You're going to have two guys on offense that are going to have to take over and have the ability to break down any of the 4 or 5 defenders that the Celtics have on the floor pretty much at all times. Talking about Drew Holiday, Derek White, Jaylen Brown, Jayson Tatum, and even Kristaps Porzingis. And we've seen Al Horford be great in stretches. But someone is going to have to take over in an isolation situation, because then you get to break down their defense in such a way that they're in scramble mode and they don't get to pre-plan for all of these setups that you have. And if you can get them down, you could try to force them to shoot some really bad shots on the other end and give yourself a little bit of breathing room on defense. I think that's one of the ways. And the other ways would be to take advantage of all of their switches and really move the fucking ball. There were a couple situations when the Knicks got the basketball in the middle of the floor, either at the top or the key at the free throw line, and someone hit a quick slot cut and they got easy layups. And if you're looking anywhere, there's only 2 teams that can really do that. And that's the Los Angeles Lakers, who have 2 players who could really dominate you in one-on-one situations and force help defense that the Celtics don't want to do. Or 2, the Golden State Warriors. Because of their ability to move the basketball, the Celtics are going to have a hard time tracking Steph Curry at all times. Right? Those to me are the 2 teams that potentially can meet up with the Boston Celtics in the finals and could beat them. But they still have the better shot, in my opinion. Dallas could not do it with Doncic. I bet you Warriors and Clippers beat them. You are a talented high if you think the Warriors can do that. Listen, man, it really depends on what Jimmy Butler we're going to get. Because, and granted, this is not the same. Nah, the Houston Rockets are not beating them boys, bro. There's just no fucking way they're beating them. I genuinely think those are the only two teams. I don't have faith that the Denver Nuggets could get there. I would love to see how the Boston Celtics handle a Nikola Jokic in a 7-game series, right? I would love to see what those adjustments look like. But, you know, if the Golden State Warriors, for example, end up playing against the Boston Celtics in the NBA Finals and win, I'm going to say this right now. If they were to do that, Draymond Green is going to need every bit of that MVP award as Steph Curry or Jimmy Butler or whoever the highest offensive output player is for that series. Because it's going to be on Draymond Green to go possession to possession to try to predict and stop whatever it is the Boston Celtics are trying to do. I think these guys have a real good chance at this two-peat, man. I really do. And the unfortunate thing for the Knicks, right? I'll throw the Knicks back in this scenario. We have two players that can win us games. In Jalen Brunson and Karl Anthony Towns. Karl Anthony Towns had an unbelievable first quarter. Cat had 12 points, went 4 of 5 from the field, 3 of 4 from the line, 1 of 1 from 3. At some point, if you're the New York Knicks, you guys have to blow the play up anytime you see anyone other than Kristaps Porzingis on Karl Anthony Towns. Twice he scored on Jason Tatum in the fourth. One of them, I think, was a foul, or both of them was. There were numerous times he had Drew Holiday on him. And one fault of Cat, he took a turnaround jump shot on one of them. But they need to be able to adjust if you're the New York Knicks, right? You need to be able to realize that, okay, this is what they're doing right now. If they're going to put smalls on Cat, we got to post him up. And then Jalen Brunson is going to have to win a lot of his one-on-one matchups. Because honestly, if you're bringing pick and rolls, all you're doing is bringing help to him. And they're just going to keep trapping him. So you're going to have to let him get off in one-on-one scenarios. And on defense, I thought we did a solid job. We did a solid job. You know, the thing about the Boston Celtics is you have to stop their first and their second option, which is typically that high pick and roll. They're going to look for a corner three. When you get them in scramble mode, they chuck up a bunch of bullshit, right? When you start getting them into their third, fourth, fifth look in their offense, they start chucking up some bullshit. And so that's what you're going to have to rely on to really hone in and lock down on that first and second option that the Celtics are trying to get to. Because if not, then what they're going to do is they're going to pull the ball out if you're Tatum or Brown, go one-on-one, and you have to rely on your wing guys to go and stop them. The problem for the Knicks, Tatum fried them. Like, they started realizing, all right, well, if Mikal is going to be on JT, Derek White's going to be on, OG's going to be on Derek White. Let's just post up Tatum and not run the pick and roll. Right? It was such a simple fix, and it's just, you know, we're going to keep the series tight. I think we can give them a fight. I think they'll ultimately outlast us just because, like I said, they have so many different options. They have so many different scenarios that they could go to. Celtics play like the Warriors, but the Warriors don't got these players. And that's why, if Jimmy Butler is gonna be Jimmy Butler, I think they have a chance, because now you let Draymond facilitate everything. It puts everyone in their right spot if Jimmy Butler is going to be the 25 point per game guy in the playoffs. Everyone gets to just play their natural role. Podziemski now they don't have to rely on him to go and get 20 plus. If he's hot, he can get there, but he can play good basketball and not force it. Buddy Hield is going to get better shots. I mean, so many things are going to be much better off if Jimmy is playing like himself on defense, and then on offense. And then on defense, you have two guys in Draymond Green and in Jimmy Butler who can really mess things up, right? And so that's why I think they have a chance at beating the Boston Celtics. But they have to get there first, right? They have to get there first, and so do the Celtics. Tatum is avocado, good sometimes, but it is man. Nothing about Tatum is impressive to me, zero. I'm putting Butler on Tatum and Draymond on Jaylen Brown, barbecue chicken. And then who are you putting Steph on? You're going to have Steph on Derek White? Are you going to have Steph on Drew Holiday? Because Drew's going to put him in the post. Derek White is going to do a pick and roll with somebody else. Like, it's just, they're going to have so many counters, and I think it'll be a really fun chess match. I think it'll be a really fun chess match. And honestly, a rematch of this version of both teams, right? This is a much better Boston Celtics than we saw the first time they played the Warriors in the NBA Finals. I think it would be a lot of fun to watch, man. I think it would be really exciting. I don't know if anyone plays like the Celtics. They play like a special ops team. Anything moving, get shots. No, that's facts. And also, they do They probably do the best job of matchup hunting, especially in the fourth quarter. They will run a million pick and rolls and actions to get the specified matchup that they want on whatever player they want to take that shot in that possession. And that's why I think it'll be so much fun, honestly, to watch them against the Lakers or the Warriors, right? It'll be a chess match from tip off to the end of the game, and I think it'll be really, really special basketball that we could watch. I mean, everything I just laid out about Jayson Tatum, I think makes him. It goes unnoticed what he does on defense. It really does. You see him switching on bigs, you see him switching on smalls. He could be the guy playing up on pick and rolls. He'll switch with the guy. We've seen him. He'd be on the corner, switch with Drew Holiday, expecting them to try to get a shot at the paint or at least go get the rebound down the stretch of games. I mean, there's so many things that this guy does that goes unnoticed during the course of a 48-minute game. On top of taking all the shots, handling the basketball, dictating traffic on offense. And I get it's not just him, especially on defense. They're all very locked into their schemes and what they're trying to do. But he is a really special player in this league, and he absolutely does not get enough credit for what he does. Right? It's unbelievable. It's unbelievable. Honestly, it's unbelievable. And oh my God, I just forgot about that. That's why Steve Kerr was bullshit benching him in the USA. Imagine Tatum starts going nuts on the Golden State Warriors in the finals because of Steve Kerr. Oh, absolute cinema. Stephon White. In that situation, who would be their other player on the floor? Because you said Jimmy on Tatum, Dre on Brown, Stephon White, Podziemski on Drew Holiday. Mouse in the house. Mouse in the house. And if not, all they're going to do is run a high pick and roll between Drew and Derek White. There you go. He was not making any shots in the Olympics. I did also just spell out all of the other things that he does on the basketball floor aside from making shots, right? He's probably, you know, one of the most complete basketball player, if not the most complete basketball player on both sides of the floor that we have in the NBA. Like, you know, it's funny because they went on that whole thing about, you know, you have to sacrifice for your teammates. You got to do things outside of getting shots. And have a guy at 6'10" that could do all of those things. The game he got, he did good. Celtics will lose 4-1. 4-1 is crazy. 4-1 is crazy. Bruce, let me ask you this. Do you think the Warriors can win that series if Jimmy Butler plays like the way he's been playing? Or do you think he's going to have to kick it up? Are you expecting Jimmy Butler to be playoff Jimmy? And that's, you know, that plus Steph Curry and everything that we've talked about, their defense, their offense. You know, is that where this is coming from? Do you expect Jimmy Butler, the Jimmy Butler that beat the Celtics pretty much on his fucking own in the conference finals, in the Eastern Conference Finals 2 years ago? Is that the Jimmy Butler that you're expecting? Because if we're gonna get the Jimmy that we've seen lately, I think they're gonna have a really long fucking series. Okay. Makes sense. Okay. See, you know, he gonna say some faded shit and say some really good shit too. Because I like I said, they gonna need that Jimmy. I think it'll be a great series. And honestly, even beyond the players, right? Talking about the Celtics and the Warriors, it'll be really fun to watch the adjustments that Steve Kerr and Joe Mazzulla make. That will be the really exciting part in it. In terms of matchups, rotations, maybe there's going to be a player that sticks out that they weren't expecting. It's just so many things to try and look out for in that series. And I think there's the same thing, like I said, goes for the Lakers, because I think JJ is a fucking nutcase in a good way. Yeah, and I do expect Jimmy Butler to kick up, right? It just, you know, how much are you going to keep waiting, right? How much are you going to keep waiting before you really start to take over? But I mean, this is I'm hyped, man. Like, I think the playoffs is about to be a movie this year. No, if you can't do it during the season, you're not gonna magically get in there in the playoffs, and that's what I worry about Jimmy. He's like not looking at the basket, and I don't know. That's a massive switch, right? That's a massive switch to expect. When we haven't seen it so far, right? When, you know, that's something that we haven't seen yet. We've seen what we've seen from the Boston Celtics, right? They won that game last night, and Jaylen Brown didn't play the fourth or overtime, right? And they just got so many weapons, man. I don't, like I said, I think they're beatable. Every team I think is beatable. Can you beat them 4 times before they beat you 4 times in a 7-game series? Right? That's really what it comes down to when, you know, they get to game plan for you day in and day out, and they have so many options. Everyone can run a pick and roll. Right? They have so many ball handlers and playmakers. It's just I don't see it, man. I don't see it, but it's going to be fun to watch, man. The season ends this weekend. Right? The play-in tournament starts. Let's see. When does the play-in start? The play-in starts April is going from April 15 to 18, and the playoffs begin on April 19. So definitely something to look forward to. That's gonna be a lot of fun. That's gonna be a lot of fun to watch. Man, I was tight last night. And it's funny because, you know, for it to be so close to the end of the year, I guess you'd be expecting some more players to be sitting, but hey, we're getting some good games to end the season, so I'm not mad at it. Talk to all the greats, step up in the playoffs. I mean, you are not wrong. You're not wrong. Although I do think the regular season is still important. You still have to. You got to get your reps in, right? You got to get your rhythm in, your shots. Your teammates got to know those timings. They got to know what to expect when you are doing your thing, right? So I don't know. It's just something we got to see. And when it comes to the Warriors, it's one of those things that we just have to wait and see, right? There's a good chance the Celtics run through the East, except for my New York Knicks, obviously. But there's a good chance they run through the East. And if the Warriors could have a great chance. But if they're in a bunch of really long series to get to the finals, what if they just run out of gas? Like, there's so many factors that go into it. They got to punch his chance, man. They definitely got to punch his chance. But oh no, they're very different. They are very different, man. Here, let's go through it. Do you think it helps if you haven't taken a bunch of those shots? I'm not saying they're scared of anybody, but there is something to getting those reps in the regular season still. There is something to that, right? Here, let's take a look at homeboy. I mean, honestly, some very good years here still, right? He's never been the big 25 point per game scorer in the regular season, right? That's never been his jam. Jimmy was on the Heat. The Heat consistently tried to flip switches, then wondered why they would lose series. And then you go look in the playoffs. 27, 26. 22.2, 22.7. I mean, absolutely. I mean, you're right. You're right, right? That's what I'm expecting, right? What I'm expecting, genuinely, what I'm expecting is, I don't know if they're big braining this shit where, all right, Steph has gotten us to the playoffs, right? He's done his thing. He's had his big games. Jimmy's gonna try to carry through the early part of the playoffs, right? That's what I'm expecting to sort of happen. But again, you're on a new team in a new system, just off of pure reps in those situations and in those scenarios. When Jimmy Butler is shooting more than 15 times, when he's getting up 20 plus shots in takeover mode, guys have to know how to play around that, right? I'm not saying he can't go off, but just that's a real thing. That's why it takes teams so long to gel. And that's a part of why they've gelled so easily, because Jimmy Butler has said, I'm just not going to take my shots. Now, whether that's a conscious thing that they've all kind of, put together, put their brains together. This is our game plan, our strategy going to end the year and going into the playoffs. And they have this big scheme. But again, you need to get those reps in my opinion, in a real game setting to just pull it out in the playoffs, I think is going to be really difficult. Go look at the Heat roster and tell me who those people are. Duncan Robinson, come on, man. Duncan Robinson is good on offense, at one time top shooter in the league. Honestly, there's some teams that could fucking use Duncan Robinson to shoot the basketball instead of having these other guys shooting them threes. But that's really my concern when it comes to the Golden State Warriors, right? Like I don't question how good their core is when it comes to Steph Curry, Jimmy Butler, or Draymond. Again, how does that look, and how will they know how to react to it when the time comes, and if they're going to play like that? Because if they get this Jimmy Butler, they're not even going to make it there, right? April Fool's was last week, bro. Oh, my God. Last, before I get on out of here, man, I just wanted to ask you guys this really quickly, because the Milwaukee Bucks came back from 24 down to beat the Minnesota Timberwolves last night, right? And Giannis has been on a tear since Damian Lillard has gone out, right? Ever since Damian Lillard has gone out, since March 20, he's been averaging 31.4, 11.3 rebounds, 8.3 assists, 1.2 steals on 62.3% shooting from the field. He's averaging 12.3 free throws in that stretch. They're not a better team with, I can never believe that teams are better without these all-time greats on the roster, right? But do you guys think Giannis would rather play like with just a bunch of role players? Like, do you think that's how he would rather play? I mean, I think we've seen his play style really clashes with Damian Lillard, right? Giannis is really a 7-foot point guard that wants to dunk on everybody. That's really what Giannis is at the core of him. He's really a point guard, a point center, damn near. Like, that's really what he is, and a super dominant player at that. And to me, it's almost like you just have to surround him with shooters and defenders, and that's it. And just let him do the rest. Come up with a scheme on defense, and that's just like that. To me, that's what seems where he seems to be at his best, and what he would prefer to do. And he's just been on a tear. Jimmy tried to be too cool on the Nuggets and lost in the finals. We not playing video games, and was thinking about how to pay the baby mamas. Dame on the Bucks was a mistake. So was firing Bud. Yeah, that's why it's dumb to say, look who on insert name team. Yep, the team was built for the star. No, for sure. And, ironically enough, I think, looking at how he's been playing lately, they can still be dangerous. Right? They could still be really dangerous if you have Giannis playing the way that he plays. There's nothing about the way Kyle Kuzma has looked lately that would tell me that he is going to come up big in the playoffs as that role guy. But who knows? If he ends up having a really good season, who knows? Right? We've seen him in that role before on the Lakers, right? And so, when it comes to Giannis, is this his preferred role? And, I'm curious what his team, that composition is going to look like as time goes. Like I said, I don't think they're a better team without Dame. I think that's faded. But he looks good right now, man. He looks good. You don't ref big names to have a good team. No, that's fact, baby mamas. And listen, man, I don't know what the hell is up with the Minnesota Timberwolves. Like, they're up one game, down another game. This guy is 37% from the field, 18.2% from three. Is just not a good night if you're Anthony Edwards. It's just not a good night. So GG's to him, man. Hopefully he can come back next year, because this year is a wrap for him. But that's going to do it for me for now. That's a wrap for me for today, man. Thank you guys, as always, for hanging out with me. I appreciate y'all. We had some really, really good conversations today. Thank you, Bruce. Thank you, Elijah. You guys are the fucking greatest, man. Before I get out of here, please like, comment, and subscribe. All that good stuff. I really appreciate it. I'll be back here on Friday, man. I'll be back here on Friday. And then, I don't think you were here the other day, Elijah, but next week we are going to have to do Monday, Wednesday, and Thursday. Friday, I got to go do a long drive, so I will not be here, but that's going to do it for me, man. I appreciate you guys so much. As always, y'all could have been anywhere on the internet, but y'all were here with me, and I appreciate that. So thank you guys so much. I'll see you guys on Friday, man. Y'all have a good one. The Warriors are constant. The Wolves are a sign of a team that's not there. Blow it up! Blow up the Timberwolves, man. I'll see you guys later. Peace.